All right, hello and welcome back. On the fly, we came up with another video we want to make. So between last night and as recent as 3 minutes ago, we went ahead and we put together our definitive teams for every region. I'm sure that I speak for everyone when I said this is probably one of the more fun projects that we definitely came up with on the fly. And we're gonna go from Kanto all the way to Paldea and show you guys what our definitive teams are. Now, the way that we sort of had this set up, we kind of just agreed to focus mostly on the individual regions, but I also wanted us to all have the freedom to put on our little flair and sort of talk about some of our favorite picks. Whether or not the teams are competitively viable has nothing to do with this. This is purely the fantasy and adventure type stuff. However, you will see some good Pokemon, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what's on my Discord here. We already have Jaquan and Darian's first Kanto teams. So we're going to start from my left. Which one is this? The Charizard. This is
Mine.
yours. All right. Go ahead. Take it away.
So for the Gen 1 team, I have to choose my main.
Mm-hmm.
I love all three starters, but the one that I choose the most is probably Charizard. Can't forget the Route 3 encounter or Route 2.
Yeah.
Nidoking.
Yep.
The thickest boy. We had to get that Poliwrath.
That's pretty cool.
We like some fighting types in there. Some Vileplume for coverage. And my favorite ground type Pokemon ever.
Yep.
In Gen 1.
The worst
Sand Slash. Yes, the worst one.
Yep.
But he's my favorite.
Yep,
The worst one, but my favorite.
I love Sand Slash as well. I don't blame you.
And, Alakazam for that flare,
For that sweeping the entire game.
Yeah, sweeping the entire game. I mean, psychic types are literally the most busted in Gen 1.
All right, so I will ask you, right? What really drew you to Nidoking over Nidoqueen?
So I'm pretty sure that Nidoking has a lot more coverage moves, and I just enjoyed the more coverage of being more of a. Even though he's a physical attacker, he has sheer force, which basically doubles the power of. And primarily, I just be using Ice Beam like a bitch and Earth Power.
Yep.
Ice Beam,
Earth Power, Fire Blast.
Yeah, it's just like enjoying that. Just enjoying the special coverage.
This is broken.
Not saying like Nidoqueen ain't it, but having more coverage is definitely the win.
Okay. All right. I'll circle back. Maybe ask another question after. Let's go ahead and take a look at the one that's not loaded. There we go. Let's take a look at Darian's.
As much as it pains me to not have my all-time favorite water type Starmie on my team,
right? You gotta go your best starter.
Blastoise is my favorite Gen 1 starter. And of course, I usually like to rock with a fire, water, grass core and then just pick and choose in between in the others. Every single team, I think, may have one, except for like later on. We'll get to that. Right. But I got Blastoise, I got Arcanine, Victory Bell, and of course I could go Scyther, Jolteon, and Alakazam. So it's a nice mix of physical power, speed. It's because we got Scyther and Jolteon, Alakazam are the faster Pokemon.
Right.
We got Jolteon, Alakazam, and Blastoise will be my special attackers. Arcanine can be mixed. Victory Bell and Scyther more physical. But like I said, it's a good mix of speed, and I don't really see many glaring weaknesses. I mean, too bad, but this is basically my definitive. If I could only run one team in these games,
right,
this is what I'd rock, and I like this one a lot.
Oh, that's good. I knew you were gonna pick a bug. I honestly thought it'd be Beedrill.
Beedrill's weaker, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's weaker in Gen 1. Yeah.
I want to rock. I like Scyther is the definitive Gen 1 bug in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Over Pinsir as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And
nice.
In terms of Gen 1, Jolteon was my favorite evolution.
Good. So, luckily, so far the only overlap that we're gonna have here looks to be the Alakazam. I already knew that we were gonna go separate ways with the starters as well. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my Kanto pick. And yeah, you already know the dustiest looking teams on your screen right now. We got Venusaur, obviously. Venusaur was my first Pokemon. Um, I'm glad that you guys had the other two because we could have easily evolved picked Charizard. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Raichu, because I like Raichu more than Pikachu. Honestly, as a kid, though, it didn't really click with me, but when I actually played Pikachu, I'm like, bro, I need to evolve this thing. This thing sucks. Golem, I might be the only person in the world that thinks Geodude is a cool Pokemon. I stand by that. Even though with trade Evos, I can't really get access to it, I really do love Golem. It's such a cool Pokemon. It just has that presence, and Golem being a Golem, like, come on, that's it's just cool imagery. I wish we could use that more. Seadra, because Kingdra's not in Gen 1. I used to really love Poliwag and Horsey, but I think as a kid, if I had to have a starter between the two of them, I would have started with a Horsey. Dodrio, you guys know this is a more recent Pokemon that I've come to love a lot more. I decided to add that to my team because I think it's a bit more unique than the Pidgeot and the Fearow. I kind of like those Pokemon. Obviously, I just call Fearow trash Pidgey every time I get it. But Dodrio, I'm starting to really like a lot more. And then Flareon's my favorite evolution from Gen 1, and it's my favorite evolution in general. So that's our Gen 1 picks. I really like where we're starting with this. Let's go ahead and switch to Gen 2 now. Okay, we got the Gator and we got the Flosion. I have Meganium. So we're 2 for 2 so far.
Let's go.
We're 2 for 2 so far. And again, like we have a little bit more overlap, but overall these teams are looking really good. All right, Jaquan. Tell you don't have to tell us. Feraligatr is the best Gen 2 starter. It's the only one that gets good.
Well, I mean, Feraligatr is probably my favorite Gen 2 starter out of all time. You know, I don't get me wrong, I love me some Typhlosion, but if I'm picking, you know, I love me some Totodile.
Sure. Love Totodile.
Definitely, I chose this team kind of based on, you know, like all my teams are kind of focused on, you know, they're from that generation.
Yep.
So like, you know, the all-time Crobat, you know, the poison flying, one of the fastest Pokemon alive. We love to see it.
Hey.
My boy Ampharos, you know, I can't live without the Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch.
Yes.
The boy Scizor.
Gotta have Scizor.
Come on.
Gotta have Scizor.
Come on.
Gotta have Scizor.
Power.
There's not that many iconic Gen 2 mons. You gotta have the Scizor.
Hitmontop.
Okay. Nice.
For that, you know, just a little balance, you know, the throw in there. And then you can't help but have the biggest boy, the dark rock type.
Yes, sir.
My man, the T-Tar.
T-Tar. I never hear enough about T-Tar. Between you and Demo, T-Tar.
T-Tar.
T-Tar. Alright, so I'm gonna ask you, why Hitmontop do you prefer it over the other two Hitmons? I know you don't really get access to them in the games, but
it's, you know, in the games it's really hard to get Tyrogue because I'm pretty sure he's one of those 1% encounters, or he's given to you. He's given to you.
Yep.
He is, I think, unfortunately, I think he is post game, but
what's not post game in Gen 2?
Yeah. I just like Hitmon's top design a lot better. Not saying like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are not fun, but you know, I like to have some semblance of defense, and that's the one thing that Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan don't have.
Nope. I agree.
You know, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, they have some good moves, but like, if I can't take a hit, what's the point of the move? You know.
Exactly. Okay.
It's like I ain't trying to be a glass cannon, so.
Hey, it's a good list. It's a good list. Let's go ahead and see Darian's. I already hate it for one reason, and you know what reason that is.
I actually might not. I don't know. We'll get to it. I'm sure you'll say something. I chose Typhlosion. I was a big fan of the fire types. I think pound for pound, Quilava is like the best starter like ever. I don't know what it is about it. It's such a simple looking design, but it's very nice. Espeon got a new evolution. Makes sense to put that on the team. Ampharos is like a mainstay in Gen 2.
Good.
Seeing the Scizor overlap and the fact that I used Scyther last time I feel very bad that I didn't put Ledian on here because
Oh
it is
yeah,
on my
true,
channel
true. On a
mascot.
dream team, yeah, on a dream team, you could easily use Ledian.
So we're gonna pretend there's a Ledian there because I'd probably rock a Ledian.
That's pretty smart.
Kingdra, Water Dragon, and then Vileplume to round it off for some kind of grass type.
Yep.
It's the only time
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna have a non-generation Pokemon like a Pokemon that didn't debut in
Yep.
this gen on a team.
Oh, that's
But
good.
I was circling through and I was like, you know what, we can use Vileplume. It's pretty easy to look at. But Keith, what do you hate? Do you not like Espeon or
You know I
something?
hate Espeon. I just
Oh,
hate
you
I
hate
just hate
Umbreon.
Espeon and Umbreon. They're my least favorite Pokemon. But yeah, no, that's it. It's a cool team. It's hard not to have a cool team at Gen 2. The biggest limitation is that it's Gen 2.
Yep.
Other generations might have like less Pokemon to pull from, but Gen 2 it's really just evolutions, pre-evolutions, and then Kanto Pokemon.
Yeah,
So,
so
you know, can't do too much with it. I will say that you're not the only one that did that. I also, with my Gen 2 team, decided to throw a Gen 1 at the end, just to round it out.
yeah.
I got Meganium, got the Crobat, got the Ampharos. Don't really have to say much about that. Sudowoodo. Can anyone tell me why I chose Sudowoodo? Think about where you get it in the game.
With the squirt bottle.
With the squirt bottle. So, my first time using that squirt ball on Sudowoodo, I'm like, bro, I gotta catch this thing. There's like one of these things in the game, isn't there? I gotta catch it. And like honestly, to its credit, Sudowoodo's a really good Pokemon.
It is good, yeah.
It is a really good Pokemon. Especially with like that sturdy pure rock type. We didn't have too many of those back in the day. Politoed, my favorite Poly. I like it way more than Poliwrath, even though it's just weird and it stands out. Like I said earlier, if it's between Poliwag and Horsey, I would love to have those Pokemon. So for Gen 1, I went with the Seadra, knowing that it evolves into Kingdra in Gen 2. In my own like sort of headspace, I just cheat and have a Kingdra anyways. We will be able to do that with the Gen 3 games. I'm pretty sure if you can get the item, that is. And then round it out with Arcanine because I feel like Arcanine feels really good on a Gen 2 team where you don't really have access to too many fire types early into the game. And the fact that like you're kind of stuck with Slugma and stuff otherwise. So I thought the Gen 1 Arcanine is a really good fit into like the Gen 2 lacking a lot of fire. So that's what I've got for Gen 2. Let's go ahead and move on to Gen 3.
Should have put Houndour earlier in the game. Come on, no game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Dang. Okay, so we do have a starter overlap. I also prefer Swampert, obviously. Who doesn't like Mudkip? Jay, go ahead and take it away.
Jaquan not picking Sceptile to me blows my mind. But Gen 3 is so hard to choose between.
I almost picked Sceptile.
It's one of the generations that I've played all the starters.
Yeah.
But I was like, let me go with the OG.
Of course.
Mudkip is technically the first starter I played when I had Ruby. So I was just like, let me go with the OG and go with Swampert.
Right.
Amazing typing. Water ground. That is powerful. Resists electricity, but gets hit by grass, but it's okay.
Yeah,
Verloom, I like me a grass fighting type. Gotta love it. My man Aaron, the Aggron.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I love me some Aaron. Flygon, I had to go with the OG Dragon. I love him. Love his design. Slacking.
Slacking's a powerhouse.
Just powerhouse. And Torkoal.
Torkoal, I love Torkoal.
Just for that fire coverage, because you need it. You need it.
I was gonna say, have you ever? I know you have, but like, have you ever like seen the Torkoal on Astra's team in the anime and just thought this Pokemon's pretty cool?
Yeah,
that's what got me into Torkoal.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I remember seeing like Destiny Deoxys and his Torkoal was just like not doing shit. Or no, like what happened is that they switched Pokemon.
Okay.
Like the guy, one of the movie characters, and he was just telling the movie character like, "This is how you need to use Torkoal," and Torkoal's just like, "Huh?" I'm like, and that's why I fall in love with him. It's just like Torkoal's just like the GOAT.
Torkoal is kind of the GOAT. All right. Honestly, solid team. There's no disputing. These are great Pokemon. Gen 3's goated. And I knew that Darren would do this. He brought the fossil power. Go ahead and explain to me
Yes.
this team you got.
We have the fire starter is Blaziken, which will put you behind and on the back foot a bit, with the first gym being the rock type, because you're not really going to have much fighting
No, you
coverage
just
unless you
go
over
Combusken.
level. But you'll be,
Yep.
you'll be alright. We have Sharpedo, who I know it's not the design because based off a torpedo, it makes me sad it doesn't have a full sharp body. But I love Sharpedo. It's fast, it hits hard, has a really cool typing, and like he said, the fossil power. We got our Maldo. It's probably my second favorite fossil. Bug Rock's a really cool typing. I very much enjoy it. It's got good coverage.
And you got your
We've
bug
already-
in there too.
Yeah, we've already talked about Flygon.
Yep.
It's a Gen 3 staple. And then we have Manectric and Zangoose to round it out. Manectric, another fast, I also really love electric types. And then, of course, we have Zangoose with some nice normal physical power to round it out. This is one of my more fun teams that I've put together.
Yeah,
Armaldo's
Zangoose is
a little
a
wild
sleeper
card,
pick
but
too.
Yeah, very much enjoy Zangoose.
All right, so I'll
It's
ask you.
okay.
There's two Pokemon I want to see if you considered. The first one being Absol. Did either of you consider Absol on your team?
I was scrolling through and I was like,
I-
Absol, not bad. But I
scrolled
had
through it.
Sharpedo.
I
on
I
there,
scrolled through
mainly.
it and I thought about it and I was like, I love me some Absol, but I was like, I don't play Absol enough for it to be considered on my team.
Yeah.
So I was like, I
It's
played
hard
more
to-
of Slacking, and I was just like, let me put Slacking on here because I was like, I use Slacking.
All right, here's my second
And-
question. Have either of you ever used Cast Form?
I've never
Yes.
used Cast Form.
Yes?
I've not used.
How'd that
I've
go?
used Cast Form
How'd that go? Because you got Slacking right there. You could just slot out the Slacking and get twice as much coverage.
True, but it I guess it kind of goes based off design.
Yeah.
What appealed for me because it's just like I've used the Cast Form before. It's I think in Emerald, in Emerald, it didn't change its type or something like that because I'm pretty sure it changes its type in the weather actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now, but
ice,
back in the
fire.
day, Emerald it was still normal.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. When it was introduced, they
Was
never
introduced.
changed its type,
Okay.
if I remember. And I just thought about that, and I was just like, I don't want it changing its type, really, because then I'd have to get rid of Slacking,
Yep.
because it's like, and Torkoal, and fire types are hard to come by in general.
Oh yeah.
So I just like, I was like, it was like I love Cast Form, but I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'll go with the Slacking.
I
right.
also was pretty hard considering like some Shift Tree and some Swellow, maybe some Pelipper.
Oh yeah,
And
dude,
Camerupt was on my
Yo,
list for a
Pelipper,
bit too.
definitely, yeah. Pelipper's a cool one. All right, are you guys ready to see the Enlightened Gen 3 definitive Pokemon team?
See it.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, I knew there was a Sableye. I knew the Sableye was at least coming.
So we're saving Gardevoir for later. Right?
Yeah.
I have a total of 2 Pokemon on this team that evolve. Alright, so I did consider Volbeat over Linoon, but I thought about it, and not only was Linoon the staple HM slave before Bidoof even came into existence, right? But it's also such a cool Pokemon. It's got decent stats, and if it's between, honestly, I would say that the early routes are the absolute best in Gen 3. Before we start to get the heavy, here's every Pokemon from every game from Route 1, right? So back in the day, I loved seeing Wingull, I loved seeing Poochyena, Linoon, Lotad, Seedot, Ralts. We had a plethora of different unique Pokemon and unique typings as well. Especially that early Dark type that we didn't really have much of at the time. Obviously, gotta go with Swampert. Swampert and Trico were always my 2 main picks. And then when I realized how broken Blaziken was, I played some Blaziken as well. Sableye is my second favorite Pokemon. If you put Gardevoir and Gallade together as my favorite Pokemon, Sableye is my all-time second favorite Pokemon. I love its Mega. I love the power that it brings. I actually... Let's see. I think I put on the team that doesn't matter for this video. Like Mega Sableye was great when I played Oraz. That was one of my staples. Plusle is such a cool Pokemon. It's not that strong, but especially in the remakes, it has a lot of power. And I actually did run it on my main team on my first playthrough. Torkoal, also probably one of my all-time favorite Gen 3 Pokemon, mainly because it was used in the anime. And Chimecho is such a sleeper psychic type. It has base 90, I think, special attack, and the rest of its stats are fairly even. It's actually really good at hitting. It also has access to things like Heal Bell. Like obviously Gen 3 is my favorite gen. I wanted to have a nice unique pick of some of my favorite Pokemon. The only one I didn't include was Volbeat. Because Volbeat's pretty bad. Even for this team, Volbeat's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright. So that's our Gen 3 teams. Let's go ahead and
Now
move
it's
on.
time for Overlap Central and call.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. So we got the Infernape. Go ahead and show us that Empoleon, Jay. Yep, the Empoleon, and obviously I chose Torterra. So
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my. Okay, not too much overlap, but
Yeah.
you got the basic Staraptor Luxray. How could you not? All right, Jay, take it away.
Okay. Lord of mercy. So you can see that there's not much coverage in this. But it's definitely I had to go with the boy Empoleon. Water Steel is such a good type.
It's so unique too.
It's Water Steel. Love it. The first bird with a fighting type move. How can you not choose this Pokemon? How can you not choose Staraptor? The first Pokemon with a fighting type move.
I would even say in the anime this is probably Ash's best bird. Like this this thing fought to the death.
This thing in Swallow are probably his best bird.
Yeah, Swallow's amazing too.
But yes, having close combat is broken for this bird.
And Brave Bird is Brave Bird Gen 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brave Bird is such a cool move to debut there.
Brave Bird, amazing move. Luxray, God, love this Pokemon. Electric type, one of the coolest looking electric types in the game. You know, got the Fang moves, you know. It's just a pure electric. Love it. Words cannot be said for Garchomp. Garchomp is the king, you know, one of not if one of the greatest dragon types that exist.
Wide variety you can do too.
Yeah. Spiritomb. This had no weaknesses, just like Sableye in Gen 4. So this thing was basically a tank.
True.
Not many moves were not very effective, and not many were effective. So if you bulk this thing up, you're sitting here for days. And then the boy Gliscor, poison heal and poison orb.
Over.
That thing was hitting hard.
It's really good.
That thing was hitting hard. So definitely, this is my dream team. Love these Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Spiritomb because that's one of the Pokemon that you really don't get to use that often. In the original game, even in the remake, it's impossible to get Spiritomb sometimes.
Yeah,
because you have to go through all that extra stuff. Definitely unique. I know you got both of those Pokemon. That's the Cynthia powerhouse duo right there.
Yep.
And now, okay.
Any questions?
Pretty good. Oh no. Your team. No, come on, man. It's Gen 4. It's Gen 4. Come on, man. Like, we got good Pokemon for days in Gen 4. The only thing that we don't have is fire types, which we see Darian went ahead and covered that pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Darian.
So yeah, we chose Infernape because if you like fire types like me, this is your only opportunity unless you want to use Rapidash.
Rapidash, yep.
Well, I like Rapidash, but
I love Rapidash.
It's been around for a few generations. Staraptor Luxray don't need much of an introduction speech. Yeah, I went to go with Weavile, one of the new cross-gen evolutions from good old Sneasel.
Right.
And Floatzel as my water type is just a good mixed attacker with good speed. And then we have Roserade, who's got good special attacking stats, decent special defense and speed. Of course, there's a few Pokemon that I could have gone with. Maybe we'll see Keith do some, but like, there's like I originally had a Powdon on here,
Oh yeah, Powdon's pretty. Yeah, I could see you running a Powdon.
and like it was like a Powdon, and maybe of course we have the Lucario, but I decided to go.
Oh yeah,
Since
Jay.
we have
Yeah,
the
Jay, you didn't
fighting
pick
overall.
Lucario.
I didn't want it to be too similar to Cynthia's team.
Yeah.
I was like,
Basically.
when I picked.
It's like I originally had
Garchomp,
Gastrodon and Lucario.
I was like, literally, Cynthia's team is my dream team. Like,
Yeah,
let's kid not.
Yeah.
The only Pokemon I'd switch out is the Empoleon for the Milotic, and
Yep.
our teams are.
And then you're
literally
good.
the
Yeah,
same.
it's the same team. Yeah.
So I was just like, let me not go that far, but like.
But how cool is that though? I don't think that's something that people can say often. It's like, yo, this champion has my team. I love every Pokemon on the team. I like even though Diantha has Mega Gardevoir, I don't care about anything else on her team really. I think I have like one other Pokemon that from her team that I would actually use, and I think I have it on my list as well.
Yeah, like pretty sure, like if anything, so how the team would go. Sorry to cut you. Is Empoleon, Togekiss, Lucario, the Garchomp,
Spiritomb, and then Gastrodon, right?
And Gastrodon, literally. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, let's see what I got here.
What you got there, bro? What you got there?
We got the Gastrodon. I'll tell you what.
I also had an Emboplom up on mine for a bit too.
Yeah. So, for me, it was always grass types. Always. Grass was my all-time favorite type before the fairy type came in. I also started to like the water type a lot more because of Gen 6 when I ended up using a lot of Greninja at the time. Gotta go with Kricketune. I fawned over this Pokemon more than any other bug. I hate the bug type. I hate that's an early bloomer, so we lose a lot of value later game. But if it was on a definitive team, I'm always picking up Kricketune. Kricketune's the coolest Pokemon. Gastrodon was not only one of my favorite competitive mons, but after that experience, I would love to always go back and pick this thing up on a team. Ambipom is another one of my probably top 10 all-time favorite Pokemon. Not necessarily just because of the anime, but I love Apom's design. I like the fact that Gen 4 gave us a lot of cool new evolutions. Speaking of, my favorite Pokemon got an evolution, so we got the male Gallade, and then we also have Magmortar. So I definitely took that in stride. And it's like, well, if you're gonna evolve all these freaking Pokemon, I'm gonna use all these freaking Pokemon. You know what I mean? And you know, if I'm running back BDSP, I'm pretty sure I could get this team like today. So, really grateful for the opportunity. Yeah, I mean this would be my Gen 4 team. It's a harder gen definitely to do. There's so many Pokemon that are just straight up cool, usable, viable. But obviously I always have that little quirk in me where I gotta pick Pokemon that are absolute garbage. So we got the Kricketune and the Ambipom in there. Alright. Let's go ahead for probably the most annoying gen to pick from
this was definitely the hardest for me.
Yeah,
dude.
the Gen 5 team. I already see Jaquan sweeping somebody on the ladder. Just frame one. Jaquan's just sweeping somebody on the ladder, bro. Oh my lord. Alright, these are good. I think we all picked Bisharp. I'm not sure on that. I think we all picked Bisharp. I think we all picked Electros. Hold on a second. This might be the first time we have the three-way. Okay, I didn't pick Bisharp. Whew. Okay. But we all
picked the Electros.
We all picked the Electros, which I'm actually surprised, honestly, because we never talk about this Pokemon. Alright, Jay. Let's go through it.
So, picked up the boy Samurott. I love Razor Shell. Razor Shell is probably one of my favorite water type moves. Sad that it wasn't in Legends for some reason. But that's fine. The boy Unpheasant, underrated. I used to hate P-Dove, but then like when it started evolving, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, its second evolution, I was like, damn, that kind of sucks. But then it got the Unpheasant, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fancy bird.
Boy looking clean. Fancy bird.
Okay.
And can't forget the boy Crocodile.
Yeah,
now,
Crocodile.
this is a king.
definitely.
This right here,
Somebody had to pick up the crocodile. I'm glad that we have you with the crocodile because
the king.
he's great.
The crocodile, I love it. Ground dark. Reunicus, I think, is underrated. No one talks about this Pokemon.
For sure.
It funny enough, I think it looked so interesting, and I was like, oh, this is a psychic type, and I don't normally run psychic types on my team, like, and especially it being a pure psychic, I was like, let me give this a try, and never regretted it. Nothing to say about Electros. I mean,
I don't
levitate.
think we have to worry about that
literally bypasses its weakness. So, very powerful, very coverage heavy. It can save itself. So it's definitely a strong Pokemon. Can't forget about Bisharp. Level 54 is a lot, or I think it's 50, but it's definitely worth it. It's a strong steel type. Love this Pokemon. It definitely, like, I remember like seeing it and I was like, oh, it's like this thing comes from Ponward. I can't wait to evolve. I was like, yes sir.
Yes sir.
But anyway, yeah, this is my team.
Oh, good team. So I will ask, do you prefer male Unpheasant or female Unpheasant?
I prefer male. I like the mask.
Interesting. I actually kind of like it without the mask, so I usually go for the female.
Yeah,
and then
I love the mask on its face.
And then, is there any honorable mention? Because this is the most Pokemon introduced to a gen. Do you have any Pokemon on your mind that you remember you kind of wanted to throw in?
I have like 70, so.
Yeah, right.
Definitely one was Volcarona. I wouldn't have mind putting Volcarona on this team. What else? Oh, Darmanitan. I was
kind of true.
Yeah, I was debating really hard because I love Zen mode.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, I'm like, but you don't get to see Zen mode too often, so
Yeah.
I'm like.
And then Reuniclus is a lot more unique, most ways. Okay.
What else? I had one more.
What you got?
The boy Hydreigon.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Oh, none of us have Hydreigon actually. That's pretty cool.
I think evolves at like level fucking 70. So.
Well,
then again, so does Volcarona. Volcarona's like level 54 when it evolves. Something else.
64 is
it's something high.
Hydreigon, and I was just like, no, good. But hey, I mean, he's Hydreigon. I can't be mad at him.
All right. So, Darren, I want you to explain the 3 Pokemon that you don't share with Jaquan.
All right. Well, he mentioned the Volcarona. Volcarona is Bug Fire, which are 2 of my favorite typings.
Of course.
We have Sock, who... I'm just making sure. Okay. Sock, which is the first fighting type I used in here. And then we have Maractus, which is another underrated, not really much talked about Pokemon.
True.
But I did have a little bit of an oopsie. Bisharp shouldn't be here. That should be Excadrill.
Right.
But then again, you talked about the honorable mentions. I wanted Haxorus, Galvantula, Darmanitan, Reuniclus. There's what else? There's
so many good Pokemon.
There's just so many. Even if you want to go with the beginning route Pokemon, like Lillipup turns into Stoutland. Stoutland's incredible.
Insane.
You have you have Caracosta. Yeah, I had Jellicent on here for a while. There's just
Caracosta.
There's so many Pokemon on here that you can choose from. There's not really.
I know you were thinking Archeops too, right?
Yeah, Archeops was there. There's just so
many Pokemon.
So many. Right? It's just so hard to choose. Like, you can do several playthroughs of Gen 5 and have so many viable options.
Of course. And it only got better from there, honestly, because they started to just put out so many cool Pokemon from that point onwards. It's like, even now, like, if we replay Scarlet, we're never gonna run out of teams. Actually, it's impossible.
But yeah, this is kind of just one of many we could have all come up with.
Okay.
I like it. Electros, now that fairy types exist is now the only Pokemon with no weakness with that levitate ability. And but yeah, I like this one and feel bad for Embor because no one ever chooses Embor.
I was gonna ask, do you hate Embor, or
I don't hate
do you just
Embor.
prefer Volcarona?
I just much prefer Volcarona and Darmanitan. You know what? Even Heatmore. No one says a word about Heatmore, and I love that fucking Anteater guy.
Oh yeah, I like Durant, honestly. Durant's pretty cool.
Durant and Heatmore. Oh, there was Scolipede. Just so many.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're kind of screwed though, because like you just end up going mono bug at this point. Yeah, like half your team's gonna be bugs.
They were very nice to bug types this shit. I'm happy.
They really were.
And Leavanny is another one.
Yeah, I was gonna Leavanny is one of my honorable mentions. So for my Gen 5 team, I'm already here. Superior. Obviously, I literally just pick grass almost every generation all the time. So this is like very awkwardly in order of like decks, but imagine you run just a Snivy until you get to Minchino. And it's the Skill Link Minchino too that you get on your tutorial. Skill Link's my favorite ability. Chinchino is the best Pokemon to do it in my opinion. UU viable all throughout like Gen 6.
Oh brother, that's like 3 gyms in.
Yeah. And then like around the same time I'd be getting the Darmanitan.
Well, you get the Darmanitan first.
Yeah. So I would have those, and then Ducklet's a little ways off as well. I think that's after the 3rd gym. I think you can get that on the bridge. I'm pretty sure.
That's on the Sky Arrow Bridge. Or
so I'll literally just be getting my whole team like midway through game. I really like Swanna. I think people definitely don't talk about that Pokemon. Like water flying, we got it with Pelipper. It was good with Pelipper. I think it's even better though with Swanna, because it has just better overall stats and moveset, especially for being a couple generations later. Nobody likes Vanillux. Vanillux was a Pokemon I didn't even really like until Gen 6. With Horde Encounters, I actually ended up finding a shiny one, and I was like, you know what, this Pokemon's really cool. And even in Gen 5, I was like really sleeping on Vanillish. I was like, okay, well, I just need to add a 6th Pokemon. Ice type's pretty unique. So I added it to my team, and it actually ended up putting in a lot of work near the end of the game. I was really proud of it for that. And obviously, Electros is not only one of my favorite competitive picks. I used to, because my teams are all around hardcore defensive, bordering on stall. My only 2 attackers were an Arcanine, which has insane coverage, and an Electros, which is even more insane coverage. It was impossible to deal with. I would always love to pick this Pokemon up if I can in Gen 5. I also thought about Leavanny, but obviously I started with Superior, so I quickly forgot about that. And I kind of want to go to the website real quick. There's a Pokemon I'm missing.
Is it Ferrothorn?
Ferrothorn, yep. Ferrothorn's on there.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that.
I started with a grass type, man. It's hard.
Yo, Mega Save. What's up, bud?
Oh, yeah. See, I was trying to think of other teams all around with all my picks. We're going to go back to Gen 5 real quick, because there's one more Pokemon I need.
Oh, hey, Zoroark.
I thought of Sock. I thought of Scrafty. I never actually used Gothitelle, but I think
that's the version exclusive, isn't it? With Gothitelle and Reuniclus.
And Reuniclus, yep. So Gothitelle was another Pokemon that I probably would have used as well. And then, obviously, I'm pretty sure we all thought about Chandelure at some point.
Yeah, dude, Chandelure.
I thought about Chandelure, but I was like, I don't want to pick him.
I had Bisharp, and I replaced Bisharp with...
honestly,
with Darmanitan.
If anything, I would replace my Bisharp for Chandelure.
For Chandelure, yeah.
Like I said, there's just so many you can choose from right now.
It's hard. It's very hard.
But I know none of us using Garbodors. So.
No. Caracosta, though.
Oh, I had Swoobat as well.
And Zebstrika.
Seismitoad.
Seismitoad, yep. So many Pokemon. Alright. I'm really excited. I hope I'm about to see some Megas. Because now we're going on to Gen 6.
Just disclaimer, I did not add Megas.
I do not either.
What?
Yeah. No,
What's the point?
We just added the base form and
Damn.
stuff. I didn't add Megas.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking
neither of you have a single Mega. That's crazy.
No.
Well, what were the
But you both have Sylveon.
Most of the Mega Stones were like post game. You had to find, weren't they?
Well, yeah.
Just the only Mega you could
Or the
really
starter,
use
the Kanto
was like
starters,
starters
and the Blaziken event if you got it at the beginning.
Yeah.
and the Lucario.
And you get
So it's
Lucario.
just
Yep.
like
No
I
Mega
just didn't
Lucario
feel
on
like
either of these teams. Jay, you already passed it off once. Explain to me your team and why you didn't use Mega Lucario.
Okay, so first of all, Mega Lucario, of course it's busted. But
Right.
I had to hold back because I would have put Garchomp on the team. But I was like, because Mega Garchomp is cool, even though his design
yeah,
is
Mega
weird.
Chomp. Yeah.
But the thing about it is that I didn't know how we were doing it.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean, it was
just
up to you guys. It was free choice.
so I didn't think of just adding Mega. So I was just like, let's
Yeah.
find like a good team. So, the Greninja,
Of course.
no words need to be said.
Yeah, you both chose Greninja.
Talonflame.
Yep.
Aegislash, my god. One of the best Ghost Steel type ever. Ever.
Period.
One of those broken Pokemon.
Period.
Probably the most broken
Period.
Gen 6 Pokemon.
It probably is. Busted. Sylveon,
Of
I
course.
actually really enjoyed playing Sylveon when I got it. I was just like, dag, this is actually a really cool Pokemon. Like, I not like I was dissing it or anything, but I was just like, this is actually a really cool Pokemon. So Sylveon had to have it on the team. First fairy type. Jigalgel.
Dragalge.
Jigalgi.
I almost had Dragalge as well.
Yeah. That's the boy.
Is the boy.
Poison Dragon, the first. I love it. I mean, I loved its typing. It had coverage. It had water moves.
Very hard to kill.
It's. I'm gonna say I think ground was its only weakness.
Ground and psychic.
Ground and ground and psychic.
Yeah, fairy's neutral, so it's a good. It's a perfect anti-Gen 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then Trevenant. I love the design. I didn't put the shiny on here, but I was gonna put the shiny, but I was like, nah.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I love it. I love
shiny Trevenant.
No,
really cool.
Shiny Trevenant is cool, so that's why I was like, I do love its design. A ghost grass type, a dead tree. But definitely, I'm about to say, you guys know this is like Trevenant was like one of the grass types I would use on a grass gym. Like if I was a grass gym leader.
Yep.
So definitely Trevenant was definitely that easy pick.
That'll probably be the next one we do. Our gym leader teams.
Yeah, that works.
Yep. All right. Okay, so I asked why not Mega Lucario. You answered that question. So if not Sylveon, because I see you both have it, I'll ask you each this question. What other fairy type would you consider on your Gen 60?
Mawile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a cool one.
Honestly,
that probably would have just been my Mega. Yeah.
Mega Mawile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. How about you, Darren? What other fairy type
honestly, I'd probably go with Slurpuff.
Okay. I was expecting you guys to avoid those, but Slurpuff, yeah.
It's
an iconic design.
Cool. Yeah, I love Slurpuff.
So
it's got the belly drum play rough you can do. It's a fun little guy. I love Slurpuff a lot.
But the one thing you should notice that I don't know if you picked Keith, but we didn't choose Goodra.
Oh yeah, one of you guys definitely like. You guys both like Goodra too. I thought about it as well, but I never actually. I mean, you guys probably know, but I don't really like the pseudos. I
don't think it's probably, if anything, not the diss on it. It's probably one of the worst pseudos.
Yeah,
it's just pure dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, it has no type other than dragon.
Yep.
It could have been like, if anything, I wish for another water dragon since it only
that would be unique. That would be unique for the pseudos.
But I mean, yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't interesting on the team, so it's just definitely. I like the coverage. So go ahead, Darian. My bad.
Yeah. And the other thing is, now that I look, and I kind of forgot about the Dene.
Yeah.
Dene's
dude, I tried 8 different times to put the Dene on my team. I love that thing, man. Yeah, the Dene would go really good on your team here too. All right, so you have Pyroar, you have Tyrantrum, and you have Hawlucha. Tell me a little bit about those.
So we have Pyroar, who I think it's just such a sick Pokemon in general, like a fire lion. Definitely not trying to. I like the male form with the mane more
Okay.
than like the swoosh of hair that the female form has. Tyrantrum's the best fossil Pokemon they've ever come up with, and it's really not even close.
Dude, Rock Dragon, that's
And it's a
it's actually
T-Rex.
kind of
Like, what
insane.
more do you want?
It's kind of insane.
And Holucha's a Gen 6 fan favorite. It's got a good typing. It's got is it the only is it the only move that has two typings basically with flying press?
It's definitely one of them.
I think
Yeah.
Rayquaza is the second one.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah,
Volcanion,
yeah.
I think too, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Steam
that's-
Eruption, it might
Steam
be.
Eruption's kind of like that
Yeah,
too.
because Dragon's Ascend is a flying type move, but I think it does dragon damage as well.
It might.
Imagine.
And
I don't
then
remember.
Volcanion is the fire, water, and
Yeah.
then he's flying fighting move, flying press.
And Darren, what would your mega be
If
for a Gen 6 team?
just for Gen 6,
Yeah, it could
I'd
be one of the
probably-
Oris ones too if you want.
if it was Oris is included as Mega Beedrill.
Yeah.
With-
Oh,
without a
dude,
doubt.
Mega Beedrill would be so sick on this team.
If it's not Mega Beedrill, I love Mega Gallade. The cape is awesome.
Oh yeah, Mega Galaxy.
And other than that, I mean, I like some of the other ones that kind of put the Pokemon you don't really think of. Like, I don't think anyone's as much as people don't think about it. I don't think everyone's gonna use Mega Autono. But honestly,
would you?
Altaria with the Dragon Fairy is also a
Oh, yeah.
really
Oh yeah, Mega
really
Altaria
interesting
for Sylveon would be really cool too.
yeah.
Oh, Mega Ampharos.
Oh yeah, Mega Ampharos.
And also Mega Pinsir is another.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our favorite Pokemon get Megas. So
Yeah.
no shocker that we're spoiled for choice. All right, time for you guys to laugh at me. you already know what we're doing here.
I'm ready.
You already know. So I did actually end up throwing into Danny for the electric type. I got the Talonflame. I got the Tyrantrum. I also threw in Blastoise.
And they get given to you straight away. You pick a
I'm
starter,
like,
man.
yeah, the only reason I picked Blastoise was like, you know what? It's actually kind of unique having two starters on your team. This is almost perfect. The only problem is that obviously Mega Gardevoir is post game. You can't use it in the normal playthrough, but obviously I don't give a fuck. It's my favorite Pokemon. Chestnut was the Pokemon that I chose first, but Greninja obviously is the one I used the most. Talonflame is Jaquan already knows, bro. I didn't think I would like this Pokemon, but I used this Pokemon way too much in Gen 6. It was broken.
I love that.
It was broken. Gale Force is the most insane ability to be given to a early game Pokemon. Like, if Pokemon was skewed the same way an MMO was, like everyone would just tech in Talonflame.
Yeah.
That and Corviknight, it's like just tech in those Pokemon, you beat the whole game. So the reason why I picked Tyrantrum is because I nicknamed it Max, and I've said it before. My sister, when she was a teenager, she's kind of a lazy teenager. She didn't like doing much physical activity. So whenever she would run, she just put her arms up in front of her and just like sort of jot around like a T-Rex. And so I tell the story all the time. I love it, and that's what made me really love Tyrantrum, because it reminded me of my sister. I showed it to her before. She really likes this Pokemon, and she's playing the games now. So honestly, I should get back to her on that. When she finally gets a hold of like the 3DS games. And the Dene, because it is so cool, it's very strong, very underrated, and even though it double ups on the fairy, electric fairy is still a really good typing to have. So that's my team here. Obviously this team's probably going to be my most like for popular picks, like easily, because I have two starters, Mega Gardevoir and Talonflame. So that's what I got for Gen 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly, with the way that you guys have been going these past few gens, I feel like I'm literally about to see you guys pick the exact same team, because Gen 7 doesn't have too much. Let's see.
My Gen 7 team's it might be a little out there.
All right, let's see what you guys got. Let's get that flip going. Oh, okay. Okay, we're back. So I also chose Primarina. But it was between Primarina and Decidueye, obviously.
Yes, I do love me.
We have 3 great Pokemon, but honestly, these 2 top-notch, amazing, and unique Pokemon. Jaquan, go through your team for me.
Decidueye. Love me the design. The hoodie, the little leaf straps.
In the archery.
Clean.
Come on.
Archery. And Grass Ghost. interesting type.
Yeah,
Other
'cause
than
you chose
Trevenant,
Trevenant over
you know,
earlier too. Yeah, true.
yeah. So I love the typing. I think it's probably one of my favorite type combos. Um,
That makes
Grass
sense.
Ghost,
That makes sense.
and then the boy Vikavolt, probably one of the coolest looking bugs ever. I love Vikavolt. Electric, I love the type. Um, look at this mean Terminator looking dude right here.
True, true.
Look at that. Lycanroc. Can't you have to go with the dog? It's not the orange dog though, but it's midday. Because I'd have to go with the Ultra Sun to get the orange dog, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't feel like doing all that work right now. Um, but yes, Lycanroc. I love Lycanroc.
Yep.
Pilo Sand.
Goated.
Pilo Sand.
Goated Palo
Goated.
Sound. Let's go.
Goated. Its design is the best. Love the design. Love it so much. I love this one. Komodo. Cool. It's a cool dragon fighting type. You know, I love the typing. You know, it's moves. I love its Z move and Ultra Sun.
Oh yeah, numerous clanging
Like
scales or whatever it's
clinging
called.
scales, something like that. And it's just an overall good Pokemon. Um, and then my boy Mimikyu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mimikyu.
Get that fairy ghost in there.
Mimikyu. Yeah. That's the team. That's the team.
Did they have the non-disguise form as an option?
Oh,
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Because that would be funny. It's like I like Mimikyu, but I'm bringing the the disguise form off. All right, so 2 questions. First one, do you prefer the obviously, right? But do you prefer the midday over the night, like the dusk form, whatever it is?
Oh,
The red doggo.
which one? Oh, the red.
Yeah.
Yes, I prefer midday.
Okay.
But honestly, I prefer dawn.
Yeah, the dusk
yeah,
form.
yeah.
Yeah,
dusk form's definitely.
is it not? No, it's called dawn.
Right.
I think the other one.
Yeah, what's the night one? What's the night one called?
The night one is called
The-
dusk.
Okay,
That's
dusk.
dusk. Yeah,
So it's
it's
midday, dusk, and dawn. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Okay,
the orange one is dawn.
Yeah, the orange
I'll be
one.
sure.
But I
Ha-
like the dawn
That's a
form.
weird name.
Orange is my favorite color, so it definitely speaks to me.
Okay, cool.
Oh, so it's midday, dusk, and midnight. Midnight is the werewolf.
Midnight. Wait, which one's midnight? The
Midnight
That's
is
that's the werewolf looking one.
okay.
Yeah.
I believe its stats are a little worse too.
Yeah, because one's
Midnight
more
has,
offensive, the other one's more defensive.
Midnight has a little bit more defense and
Yeah.
30 points less in speed. Like, come on now.
All right, and then my second question is, what would be your number 1 honorable mention for this team?
Oh, honorable mention.
Yeah, because Gen 7 is a very
Oh.
unique gen.
If I were to change anything instead of Lycanroc, it'd probably be Meteor.
Oh,
Oh,
Meteor.
Meteor?
Yeah.
Love Meteor.
Yeah, I thought about Meteor as well. All right, Darian, what do you got? What do you got?
Okay, we have Primarina. Very tough to not pick Incineroar. That was my first choice, but as you can
Thanks.
see, I have
We were
Alolan
so
Marowak,
close. We were so close.
which Alolan Marowak is just a perfect form. And I decided to go, since I have a fairy type here, I went with Alolan Sandslash over Ninetales. And we have Vikavolt, Mudsdale, and Lurantis. Lurantis and Vikavolt were on my team beforehand in like my first playthrough. I liked them; they were fun.
No, because you gotta bring that battery all the way up to the end of the game.
Yeah, Vikavolt when you would get it evolved is like a nuke. It's got like 135 special attack. I had a couple of honorable mentions. Obviously, Incineroar was there. Wishy-Washy.
Wishy-Washy, yep, that's
was
one of mine.
one. Togedemaru was pretty cool. And then, honestly, for a while, I had one of the Oricorio birds.
Oh, interesting.
And then, Shiinotic's pretty good. Beware is fun.
Hey,
I like
Beware is
Beware.
really
But I like this team here. I got 2 Alolan
cool.
forms.
Alolan forms, yep.
So-
Oh, that's good.
And I have to, of course, I have a bug.
Yeah, true.
Even
Alright.
though I missed a bug last gen. But
So I couldn't bring myself to choose Vikavolt just because of how it worked. So I got off that Pokemon instantly. But obviously, I've got me the Palo Sand.
It's the male Salandit.
The male Salandit. Yeah, so let's run through this. Primarina, because I just swing that way, bro. I don't know what it is about the girlier Pokemon, but those are always the coolest ones to me. You got that mix of allure mixed with the power. Sparkling Aria is a really cool move, and Gen 7 they really tried to go big with the moves. Toucannon because of skill link, obviously. I'm glad that I was the only one to pick Toucannon because I'm pretty sure that nobody fucking remembers this Pokemon.
I love Toucannon. I love how pissed off.
No, I
It's
remember
fantastic.
Toucannon, but I just didn't like the birds didn't appeal to me.
And the fact that it's like 3 different birds. It's not even like the same bird. It's like 3.
Yeah, it's like
It's like a woodpecker.
Yeah.
Then what's its mid evolution?
Trumbeak.
Trumbeak.
It's also kind
It's
of
like the trumpet.
woodpecker-ish.
It's like the trumpet bird.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah,
becomes
it's one of the
a whole
trumpet
like this thing.
Then it's Toucan
Then
Sand.
becomes Toucannon.
Alone and Raichu, and the only reason this one's shiny, obviously you guys know why I made the last one shiny. The only reason why this one is shiny is because I actually did catch a shiny Pichu on my first playthrough. Named it Pancakes, because for some reason I decided that's how this Pokemon evolves by eating waffles/pancakes. Really cool, electric psychic. I obviously had Raichu for my Kanto team. I had the shiny Raichu for my Alolan team. Thank God they had the SOS mechanic, so I could have that incredible memory. I never really thought too much about a grass type, but I already knew I had Slanted on the team. So I went with Lurantis because I think between the two, that's the one I'd least likely to try. So despite the fact that it completely goes against what we're doing here, I think that the next time I play this game, I want to try Lurantis. It's a really cool design. Really interesting that's not a bug type. It could have been way too easy for them to give us a bug type here. The male Salandit because we don't really talk that much about men's rights and how men are treated. My poor boy Salandit, the female Salazzle, it gets that evolution because it deprives the men around her with her like pheromones or whatever, controls them into basically giving up their food in order to feed it more. So the male Salandits don't evolve. Really cool lore. Very impressive Pokemon, even if it doesn't evolve. I think it has that little bit of anime flair because of that. It's so cool that I ended up writing it into the Nano storyline. And with Palisand, honestly, the only reason I ever fell in love with this Pokemon is because I was so scared of Jaquan's Mega Aggron back when we did those battles. I needed something with Skill Link, and this thing came in, clutched up, and hard countered one of the scariest Pokemon I had to fight in that entire battle. And ever since then, I've loved this Pokemon. You guys know I cried myself for like a good 30 minutes trying to catch that shiny one. When we did some Scarlet Violet shiny hunting. And overall, I think Gen 7 has plenty of cool Pokemon. I also had picked up the Wishy-Washy if I didn't have Primarina. So that's my Gen 7 team.
And if I didn't have Vikavolt, I was looking to slide Araquanid or Rabombi.
Oh yeah, Rabombi. Okay, honestly, I could have had like 3 to 4 different fairy types on this team.
Yeah, same.
But I need to like ground myself a little bit and go some restraint. All right, we're almost done. Let's go now with our Gen 8 teams. That is the Galar region. Okay, we got Inteleon. We got Cinderace, and we got Big Gorilla. I forgot what his name was.
There we go. Rillaboom.
Rillaboom. So this was the point where we started actually playing Pokemon together. So it's no surprise that we have different starters because that's when we started. I think that's when we started doing that. I think it was around that time. So yeah, I'm really liking these teams. Let's go ahead. Jaquan, what you got?
I got the boy Cinderace.
Yep.
I'm Libero or Libero.
Yep.
Libero, whatever it's pronounced. Yeah.
It's protein. I don't know why.
It's Protean. Yeah. It's just Protean.
Protean. I hate that it was Nerf in this game, but not in this game, but Nerf later on.
Yeah, in the game after.
But yeah, this is that Pokemon. Pure Fire. I mean, like we haven't had a Pure Fire type in a minute.
Yep. Yeah, this generation had the pure types for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Since Gen 2, actually, right? Gen 2?
Yeah, since Gen 2. Typhlosion was the last Pure Fire. Yes. So I do like I like Cinderace. He's a cool looking Pokemon. I love the bunny rabbit design. My boy Corviknight.
Solo carry.
Now that
Solo carry.
oh man, I love this bird. This bird looks so cool. I love its design. Love the bird. Appleton. I love this Pokemon because apple pies are actually my favorite pies. So
Nice,
it just works. I just love being an apple dragon. Just grass.
Yeah,
dragon.
it's such an out there idea too. Similar to like the Vanillux, except they made this one like one of the coolest types as well.
Toxicity. I love this Pokemon's design. It's just so cool. I love that it evolves based off its nature.
Oh yeah, that is unique.
So it's like half of the natures evolve into low key and high key form. And they all have different moves. Like they have different moves based on their forms. I love that. Darmanitan, I was like, I couldn't give him love in Gen 5, so I was like, let me give him love in Gen 9. I mean, Gen 8.
Gen 8, yeah.
Yeah. So, I had to give him some love in
the Phalanx.
Like, had to add Phalanx in there.
Of course.
I love it.
I got Phalanx too.
Well, I'm glad I chose Grapplock because I almost picked Phalanx as well.
All right. Okay. So, would you mind explaining to me a little bit more about the difference between low key and high key form?
So, high key and low key form are basically on they're actually based on music. So there's the lower tones like
the bass guitar
and then
guitar.
Like a bass guitar and a regular oh lord. So I mean, like I think they have like different moves based on their type. I mean, which type is which.
Right.
High key form is. I think their stats are a little bit different as well.
They should be. Yeah, they should be.
I'm looking right now.
I think.
No, the stats are the same.
Are they? Interesting. So what changes? Just the moves?
Amp form is hardy, brave, adamant, naughty, docile, impish, lax, hasty, jolly, naive, rash, sassy, or quirky. You get amped, and then all the other ones like modest, mild, and quiet. So it's basically how the natures are.
It's like a whole personality shift as well.
Gentle, careful. You get the low key.
And is it a mixed attacker?
It has base 114 special attack and 98 attack, so it can be. Okay. It's actually slower than I thought. It's 75.
It's a slow Pokemon. It's not fast.
And it also has the best looking Gmax form. Gmax Toxtricity
is really cool. Gmax form. Okay. Yep. All right. So Darian, obviously, you got the
I love how ENJ Quan's teams parallel so hard.
Yeah, actually.
Graplock instead of Phalanx, Amp form instead of low key, and Flapple instead of Appleton.
Yeah. And they were version exclusive as well.
I chose Inteleon ever since I saw Sobble. I was like, I want to pick this guy. And then he was the big old crybaby, and I'm like, oh, he's adorable. He's got the little middle face that throws water balloons, and then he just turns into a secret agent water lizard. Like, it doesn't get much cooler than that. I chose Flapple over Appleton because I think it's a bit faster. Hits about just as hard. It's more physical because it's Grav Apple move. It's physical. Send a Scorch, another fire bug type. You can't really go wrong with that combination. It's a centipede. It has like the samurai looking face. Alchemy was my fairy type. It was either this or probably I was gonna see if I could throw Galarian Weezing.
Oh yeah, Galarian Weezing would be really cool too.
Galarian Weezing, Grimmsnarl are also good picks. I chose Toxtricity and ran it out with Grapplock. There's a few honorable mentions here as well. You can think of. I really like Orbeetle. It's a lot of fun. I wanted to like Thievul, but its stats are terrible.
Oh yeah, Thievul, yeah.
And I didn't run this team.
Wait, don't you like Berserker as well?
I do love Berserker. I very much do, but I didn't throw it on this one.
All right. Let's see. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you what your favorite alchemy form is. That's disgustingly.
I don't really even.
I don't think.
I don't want the mint one maybe. I like mint.
So they explain toxicity.
Yeah.
So ant form is more of an attacker, while low key form is more of a defender.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. All right, so
Okay.
I pretty much
Okay.
went with my original Gen 7 team.
Okay.
I know I have Barraskewda, Hatterene over the Pokemon I actually like more. What was its name? It's okay, Impidimp. And it evolves into
Grimmsnarl?
Grimmsnarl. Yep.
Yeah.
So even though I like Grimmsnarl more in retrospect, when I saw Psychic Fairy, I'm like, oh, this is just the Gen 8 Gardevoir, and it's a very defensive Gardevoir, and I really like it because of that. I would say I went with Rillaboom because I got the Grass type for this gen. I really like that sort of primal design that it's got. I'm not too big on like the music stuff, but I also have Obstagoon because I'm a big Gen 3 fan, and they finally gave Linoon a stronger version. I think Obstagoon is one of the coolest, most unique takes on an evolution that we got. It's because it came with a Galarian form instead of just being a straight evolution. I would love to see what this Pokemon would be if it was just Linoon. I know a lot of people made art of it. And also the fact that Obstagoon's lore is really cool as well. Colossal, because it's a very unique rock fire type. We didn't have too many of these, but it also has some advantages with its ability. As well as
steam engine or something.
Yeah, and like the overall appeal of like having this car full of coal just slowly evolve, and it's a more golem type Pokemon. So I really stuck to that. I also like the Salt Rock Pokemon that we got in Gen 9 because of that. I really like that golem archetype. Barraskewda I chose because when the stats were released, this thing was just absolutely busted, and I needed a water type, so I chose Barraskewda. I don't think I've ever actually used it ever since, but it was a really cool, really strong Pokemon. It has like this weird little, I think it's like a mustache thing as well at the end of its mouth. It's a really cool Pokemon. I usually don't gravitate to the pure fish types, but this is probably one of my favorites. Hatterene, obviously, beautiful Pokemon. Very, very unique in its approach to the psychic type, being able to pick up on people's emotions, and if it feels that you're doing too much, it's gonna come beat the crap out of you, which is very surprising, especially in the G-Max form. And then Phalanx, I did not anticipate liking this Pokemon, but then we got to the area of the game where it shows up, and it's just Hup 2, just walking around. It's like, dude, that's got to go on the team.
Right.
It's got to go on the team. I'm glad that
I see we have Hatterene over the Galarian Rapidash as well, which also shared.
Which I did. I don't know if it was that Pokemon in Sword.
I don't know if it was exclusive.
I don't remember.
It's exclusive to Shield.
It's exclusive to Shield, so I didn't use it. Yep, I didn't have access to it.
I think its counterpart was oh Lord, what was its counterpart? It has.
Was it the Weezing one? Was Weezing its counterpart?
No, you can find a Weezing. I'll look it up.
All right, yeah, go ahead and look it up because I'm recording. So
I'm looking as well. Let me see.
All right, so I didn't really get the choice of Galarian Rapidash. When one of I think Jaquan, did you trade it to me? Because you had Shield, right?
Yes.
So whenever you or whoever I got it from traded it over to me, obviously I looked at it and I really liked it, but I'm never gonna be able to use that Pokemon in a playthrough.
Nope.
And I'm okay with that because I'm spoiled for choice, bro. Spoiled for choice. The fairy type has only become better since Gen 6. Let's see. I'm gonna quickly, while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna see if there was an honorable mention.
Yeah, trade from Shield, lame.
Trade from Shield, L. All right, so this is Sword and Shield.
Oh, you had I think it was Farfetch.
Oh, Surfetch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Surfetch is definitely an honorable mention. I'm trying to see Galarian Weezing, obviously, because it's a fairy type. Honestly, Morpeko. Morpeko's a Pokemon I appreciate a lot more post-gen.
What else do we have in here for honorable mentions?
There weren't that many Pokemon that really got
Stonejourner.
My honorable mention. That's enough. Oh, Cursula. Cursula was on my.
Cursula.
I like Cursula.
Yeah. It was Dragapult, but I was like,
oh yeah. If you would have picked Dragapult, you would have.
I hate how it became just kind of OD.
It became meta defining, yeah. I hate it when that happens. Oh, how about Poltegeist?
Yeah, I see Poltergeist.
I didn't
Another
get
one
to
for
use
me
it.
was probably Cramorant,
Yeah.
even though its stats are kind of goofy. There's Copperajah, Sandaconda,
Anaconda.
Runerigus.
We got a lot of solid Pokemon this gen. I feel like people like these Pokemon a lot more than the Gen 9 ones.
Did you guys consider any of the fossil amalgamations?
Nope. Not
Nope.
at all.
I didn't really
I
like
don't
You
like
also
those
have Ice
designs.
Cube, Duraludon,
I didn't like them.
Mr. Rhyme.
And I thought about whether or not I liked the Slowbros looking. You actually can use it in a playthrough.
I love the Galarian Slowking.
Yeah, you can use them now in the playthrough if you
Yeah.
have all the DLC.
Yeah, but
Oh, Frostmoth.
I didn't care too much.
Forget about Frostmoth.
Yeah, you forgot about Frost. I mean, you have Centiskorch. Can't you? You know
Yeah.
you're not putting two bugs.
I use
But honestly,
Frostmoth
though, this would be the best time to use both bugs.
Yeah, Bolton
They have
and
decent coverage.
Frostmoth are my first
And the same exact weaknesses, so you can just cover it.
Yeah. Anything else? Copperajah, Pincurchin. Pincurchin's pretty neat.
So we have one more generation to do. We have been recording for an hour and 10 minutes. How does this keep happening?
How the hell?
If like this could have been just a half-hour video. What is wrong with me? All right, let's go through our Gen 9 Pokemon before somebody clicks off. All right, so I'm expecting. Wait, Darren, where's your stream at? Darren, Darren.
I have it open.
You got to start your stream back up.
Did it?
Yeah.
Why did it go away?
I
didn't even exit out.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
You had a stroke there, man. All right, so obviously we have 3 different Pokemon because yet again we played through this game together. Jaquan, thoughts on your team? And this is going to be most recent. So
Yeah, this is the current theme that I have right now.
yeah. So did you guys just use your Gen 9 teams, or did you change it up a
so
little?
mine's changed up a bit. I don't have Veluza, and I don't have. There was some other Pokemon I didn't have.
So this is my Gen 9 team currently.
Okay.
So Masquerada. I love the Pokemon. It's Flower Chick is busted.
It's broken, dude. It's just
That's a
broken.
busted move. I can't say that enough. I love Armorogue or Armarouge, however they pronounce it. Honestly, its design is so cool.
Yeah. I'm sad we didn't get them as like alternate Gallades, but that's basically what they look like on the first.
My boy Annihilate.
Yes, sir.
Man,
That
this Pokemon, I love this Pokemon so much. Probably one of my favorite Pokemon, like evolutions to come out of a newer game. Love this Pokemon. Tinkaton. I love the lore of this Pokemon because it's literally this thing knocks Corviknights out of the sky
for fun.
and takes, you see all those dark metals on its hammer? That's Corviknight.
Yo, really? Hold on.
Yes.
It just breaks off pieces of Corviknight?
Yes. To make its hammer.
That's metal. Literally metal.
I was like, this thing is busted.
It's crazy.
Like that, it knocks Corviknights out of the sky. If that ain't heat, that's, I don't know what is.
And it can build too, which is really crazy.
Yes. Veluza, I just love that it's a fucking Barracuda. This thing looks. I know there was Aeroscuda.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I like this Pokemon. It looks so cool.
It is really cool.
Very sleek looking. We all thought it was gonna be a steel water type. Honestly, I think it should have been, but I ain't gonna complain. And then Baxcalibur.
Of course. The Dragon Trainer.
Baxcalibur was actually because I like a albatross, or what is it called? Damn, the electric bird. The electric bird. Darian, what's the electric bird?
From this generation?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I have it.
Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel. Yes. He was my sub for Baxcalibur.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the first games out, one of the few games that wasn't using pseudo. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Kilowattrel.
All right. Darian? Tell us a bit about your
So
team.
this is a bit different than my actual in-game team.
That's fine.
My regular in-game team, I share Skeletors, Glamora, Kilowattrel, but instead I had Veluza, I had Mabastiff, and for the God's sake, I cannot remember for the life of me what my sixth team member was. Who was it? I'm gonna find out right now.
Okay.
Where are you? I'm gonna freak out.
he's losing it.
We'll come back to that because I legitimately do not remember who I had. But ever since I saw Coco, I was choosing it hands down. I saw, look at that goof, just like everyone says. There's not a thought going on in that little guy's head, and I love it. Glamora is actually my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was. I ranted and raved about this thing. It's fast. It's a special attacker for a rock type, which is pretty uncommon.
A special rock type and rock poison
with decent speed and defense. Kilowattrel is a fantastic bird Pokemon. Garganacl is rapidly becoming a favorite of the community. And to round out the grass core and water core, I have Tatsugiri, which is actually pretty strong, and Arboliva, which I didn't use, of course, but is a good choice. And then what other? Spidops was one of my honorable mentions. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, you love Spidops.
Spidops is great. Dashbun, Mousehold.
Low kicks.
Low kicks.
Yeah.
Right, now you guys are just listing off my team. All
Mhm.
right, so
What was the last one?
this is one of the few generations where this might be the only time in all of Pokemon that I finished a game with a bug type on my team, because this is the Kamen Rider Pokemon, and I'm the biggest Kamen Rider fan around. We had Quaquaval. Now, I am usually the last person. I want Darien and I want Jaquan to choose what they want. I always want the leftover mon, and this was our leftover mon. And we didn't know at the time because it took them like 9 months to we never got to see the starters. They did not show the evos or nothing. So for the longest time, all I knew is that I had Quaxley. But then we finally saw what Quaquaval was. I'm like, God damn it, we're back at it again with the flamboyancy, and I love it. I love everything about it. I stopped considering the other two starters. I stopped considering a second playthrough altogether. I was like, this is my Pokemon. This Pokemon was made for people like me that like the goofy, that like the flamboyant, that like the stuff that stands out. That other people would be like, yeah, that's just goofy, that's childish. So I love Quaquaval. I had ran into some really serious problems though with the fighting type, because I also fell deeply in love with Palmy. I want this thing the second that we saw it, and up until like the last minute, these were the only two Pokemon that were locked in on my team. Then when we finally saw the Kamen Rider Pokemon, I think that was also in leaks, I was like, well, that's half my team. And then the rest of my team, Dashbun was never supposed to be on this team. I wanted Fluttermane, but sadly that was endgame.
Yeah, I wanted
so we all wanted at least one of those future mons. But it actually ended up being really cool because Dashbun is a amazing setup Pokemon. It gets access to Baton Pass, Swords Dance, Work Up, which I use to just pivot throughout my entire team. Also has Play Rough, and it's great fairy type that I completely overlooked going into it. Kilowattrel, the reason why it's on the team is because of the flying type. It gave me a lot more diversity. I had a very big weakness, obviously, with my electric Pokemon being electric fighting, so having a second electric type worked out really well. I ended up having 2 fighting, 2 dark, and what was the other one? 2 fighting, 2 dark, 2 electric on my team. But this team's actually ended up being really balanced. King Gambit, Bisharp's one of my favorite Pokemon. Back in the Gen 6 days, I used it specifically with a focus and Metal Burst. I would throw it in and leave it in on Charizard switches, and right when they think that they're just getting a quick kill and I'm sacking the thing off, it uses Metal Burst and kills Megazord X, Megazord Y. Ever since then, I was like, this is a really cool Pokemon with a lot of potential. They finally evolved it into its final form. It's finally got a King chess piece form, and it's one of the most broken Pokemon in Gen 9. By far, in terms of ability and stats, this thing is ridiculous. Not as ridiculous as Houndstone, but I think it's up there in terms of like
Houndstone's only ridiculous if the rest of your team does.
Yeah, if you're playing sixes. So this was my team. We all had some pretty great teams. Even with the overlap, worked out just like a charm. So I think the next thing that we're gonna do, we could do now. I could cut the recording here, and we could do it now. We could try and put together a couple of like gym teams. That shouldn't take too long. So if you are actually watching this in the future, want to thank you. Let us know down below, any gen, all gens, what would your team be? I'll also leave a link in the description to the application that we're using to do this, so that you can go do that on your own time. And feel free to share. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sticking with us for an hour. We will see you shortly with our next hour-long video. So until then, I hope you take care.